Hello everyone, Storm11 here. Today, it's going to be a little bit of a different video today. We're actually going to have a short update on today's severe weather risk, where we are likely going to see a significant derecho move across portions of Nebraska, southeastern South Dakota, portions of northwestern Iowa, even the portions of Minnesota later today. Things could be very significant as the day goes on later today. Before we get started this video, if you guys like weather-related content, you can subscribe to our channel. We do stuff here all the time on this channel as well. So let's get started with the watch warning advisory display. Things are getting active across the Midwest. We got a couple areas of severe thunderstorm watches. We got a couple severe thunderstorm watches for portions of eastern Minnesota, northern Wisconsin into portions of upper Michigan, and a couple severe thunderstorm watches for portions of northern Kansas, the eastern half of Nebraska, southeastern South Dakota, northwestern Iowa, and southwestern Minnesota. One of those is a rare PDS severe thunderstorm watch, which here it is right here. You can see here the towns are highlighted on this map here. This is a particularly dangerous situation severe thunderstorm watch, something you don't see very often, maybe once or twice a year on average. A couple tornadoes are possible. Scattered hail up to 2-inch size likely, but the biggest one of all is going to be the winds. Widespread gusts up to 105 miles per hour like or expected. And that's some strong words from this particular severe thunderstorm watch. So let's check out the SPC outlook for today. We got a large moderate risk area for northeastern Nebraska, eastern South Dakota, a good chunk of western Minnesota, and southeastern North Dakota. Here's your tornado risk. We got a small hatched area for the northeastern part of South Dakota. We'll have to wait to see if storms can become discrete to have a strong tornado threat up there. Regardless, there's going to be a lot of wind shear out up there to work with. But really, the biggest threat is going to be damaging winds. Get that large 45 hatched area. And hail will be a possibility for a lot of these storms as well, which some of it could be very large out there as well. So let's check out the current environment right now. So you can find this anywhere. The link is on the top of the screen up here if you guys want to check it out. It's a really good site here. And this is what the environment is going on pretty much about right now. So this is surface space Cape, and we got very elevated instability values, which right now are big cluster thunderstorms is already ongoing in the portions of northeastern Nebraska. And these storms are going to move quickly to the northeast here. So, and out ahead of these storms, we got surface-based Cape up to 6,000 joules per kilogram. That is very high for really about any time of year for 6,000 joules per kilogram. A little bit lower than yesterday. Yesterday we had an area of 7,000, but regardless here, they're both very high instability values. If we check out mixed layer Cape, it's up as high as 4,000 joules per kilogram out there. And let's check out some of the ingredients for damaging winds. One of the products you can look at is what's known as downdraft Cape. And usually above 800 I consider favorable for damaged winds, but really the higher numbers could be at least 1200. We got numbers up as high as 1600 for downdraft Cape, and that really supports the threat for damaging straight line winds, and some of it can be significant as well. Another product that you can look at is low level lap rates. Usually over a 7 is favorable, but when you get over an 8 or even 8.5, that's usually strong low level lap rates, especially if you get close to a 9. Well, we got some strong low level lap rates out there ahead of these storms, and that's not really a good thing at all. Here's surface space lift index. I mean, negative 11 is very elevated, so there's going to be a lot of lift out there. Wind shear is another important ingredient here, but sometimes when it comes to derecho events, you don't really need a lot of wind shear. You just need something to spark off these storms to really get them going, which we already got something that sparked these storms already, so we already had that happen. And really, it's going to kind of follow along a little bit of an outflow boundary, and it's just going to continue on until it runs out steam or the environment's not favorable for severe weather, and that's going to be a while. If we go back to surface-based Cape, right now your unfavorable environment for severe weather is currently up as far north as central Minnesota. And this is only going to continue to move up north as the day goes on. So these storms can last for a very long period of time. And we also still got a few hours left of daylight, too. So that's another thing. Let's check out the Derecho composite, something I don't show very often. Usually when it comes to Derecho composite, I consider a high number when it comes to Derecho composite is a little over 8 or 10. We got values up as high as 16, which is a value you don't see very often on the Derecho composite, which really indicates that conditions are really favorable for Derechos out there, which we already got likely one in progress right now. I mean, that's a really good environment for a big derecho. If you do not know what a derecho is, it's really a cluster of thunderstorms that can last for hundreds of miles and also produce widespread damage and winds. It's not really the tornadoes or the lightning or the flooding that's the biggest concern. It's the damaging straight line winds that can make it quite significant. Which, of course, with these cluster thunderstorms, you can see maybe a couple spin up tornadoes along the squall line, but really the main concern is going to be the damaging straight line winds, which can be quite strong. It could be nearly as strong as a weak tornado in some cases. It looks like a tornado watch got issued, which the picture's not popping up. Time to make this video, which I'll suspect it's probably somewhere up here, I imagine. And we'll check out some other products like the Supercell Composite. We got values up as high as a 36. And let's also check out the significant torque parameters. Really, over a 1, conditions can be favorable for tornadoes. But when you get over a 2, conditions are favorable for strong tornadoes. We got values up as high as a 5 in some places. And that's a very elevated number. But it all depends on if you can get thunderstorms or discrete cells to form in this environment. If you can get a discrete storm that forms in this environment, it does have a likelihood of producing a tornado, and it can be strong as well. Conditions are favorable for stuff like that. And I really think that's about it on this site here. I guess we also check out significant hail parameter. You can see it's up as high as a 5, which leads to indication for some very powerful updrafts with some of these storms out there as well. So really overall, at least for the current environment, conditions are supportive for our big time cluster thunderstorms that could become a derecho out there as well. So especially if you're in that PDS severe thunderstorm watch, definitely keep an eye on this cluster thunderstorms because it can be quite significant as well, especially if it gets to you as well. And also take it seriously as well. 105-mile-per-hour winds can do a lot of damage out there. So let's check out the HER model, the latest run, 19Z. Here's your cluster thunderstorms, and you notice here per hour, these storms are in no hurt, are pretty much moving very quickly out there. And you'll see damaging straight line winds along that outflow boundary as well. Even within the storms too, you can see damaging straight line winds. You can see here how long this really lasts. It could die out. The derecho side effects could end just before getting to the Canadian border. So, and you also notice here, right behind this storm here, it's not really over yet for areas and portions of Nebraska because you might have enough time for the environment to recover, get some more instability for the next wave of some strong storms out there as well, which also has a threat for damaging straight line winds, which some of it could be widespread as well. But I don't think it's going to be as significant as this wave here, because I think with the first wave here, I think it's going to take away a lot of that instability here, and it's going to and it'll be interesting to see how the second wave can handle it as well. So that's going to be something interesting to watch as well. You can see here, even the second wave could last for a long period of time. So some areas could see 2 different cluster thunderstorms in one evening, which is kind of crazy to think about if you think about it that way. I mean, it's just in the evening. It's not like it's a morning wave, then like an afternoon wave. It's actually kind of in the same time period. Both waves of thunderstorms kind of in the late afternoon and the evening hours. So kind of a short period of time, which is interesting. Oh yeah, we're talking about those winds. These are the wind gusts from the HER model. And you can see here, here's your cluster thunderstorms right here. And check out these wind gusts this model spinning out. Spinning out wind gusts up as high as 75, 80 miles per hour. Now, it's not going to be 100% accurate, when it comes to wind gusts, but it kind of gives you an idea of what these storms are capable of doing. You can see here, then again, wind gust. There's a 91 miles per hour wind gust um, out there. Here's the next hour. So pretty much generally wind gusts anywhere from 70 to up as high as 90 miles per hour. I think I saw 100 miles per hour at one point. There was a 96. So you kind of get the idea here. So it could be widespread 70 to 80 or 90 mile per hour winds with scattered wind gusts that could be close to 100 miles per hour. And I think this model here kind of brings a great representation of this cluster thunderstorm. So you can see here, as we get deeper to the overnight hours, you can see here how it begins to lose steam. But even at that point, it can still produce some severe wind gusts as well. And here comes your second wave as well developing. And you can see here it's not as intense as the first wave here, which I don't expect the second wave to be nearly as intense as the first wave, because really the first wave has a pretty good advantage with this type of environment as well, especially if it's got no storms out ahead of it. Meanwhile, with the second wave, it's got a cluster of thunderstorms out ahead of it. It may have trouble getting organized. So, yeah, you can see here how the Hermal really plays it out. It does show a pretty significant outlook out there, or outcome, I should say, as well. And I think the last thing we'll check out before we end this short video is the significant weather parameters, which right now you've seen values up as high as a 5. You can see as we get deeper into the evening hours, you guys have very elevated numbers out there. But then again, it all depends on if you can get a discrete cell out there. If you cannot, it really decreases the strong tornado threat. Just you could still get a strong tornado along squall line, but it doesn't happen very often. So that's something I should know too. But regardless, there is going to be a tornado threat if there's going to be a strong tornado or not. And you can see here, these are some pretty favorable numbers out there. Like I said earlier, over a 1, conditions are favorable for tornadoes. Over a 2, conditions could be favorable for strong tornadoes. And really, the greatest threat area is going to be in the northeastern parts of South Dakota, which I think that's where we're going to see the more discrete mode out there than out here, because some storms may not form out in this area out there. It may not have enough time before these cluster thunderstorms that's currently ongoing northeast of Nebraska kind of moves in as well. So really oh yeah, let's get a sounding too. Almost forgot about that. Let's get a sounding in the northeastern part of South Dakota, where we're more likely to see some discrete cells. And you can see here, elevated Cape Valley, surface space is 4,400, and mixed layer is 4,100. Downdraft Cape is 1,400. Lap rates look great. Hodograph looks good. Wind direction height is pretty impressive this sounding here. Not gonna lie. From the surface is from the east. 850 millibars is from the south. 700 millibars is from the southwest. So, yeah, that really enhances the threat for strong tornadoes if you have wind direction of height like that. Even the hodograph looks great as well. So, really, if the sound were to be correct, conditions could be favorable for damaging winds, large hail. Some of it could be significant, and tornadoes. Some of them could be strong. Now, for the hail threat side of things here, sometimes when you get wind direction of height like this for hail, you know, conditions cannot be fair. It's not really favorable for extremely large hail or anything like that, because when you got wind direction of height here, it kind of messes up with some of those rain droplets that turn into hailstones that stick up in a thunderstorm for a long period of time. And really, with those crosswinds inside that storm, it cannot, some of that hail is not going to stick up there as long as directional shear or winds that kind of go in the same direction. So someone will put it out there very quickly here. So that's why the significant hail threat isn't really huge, even though you got very elevated instability values and pretty good lap rates as well. So that's something I want to point out. And I guess we can really quickly talk about tomorrow, because I'm sure some people may be interested in what tomorrow could be. Really, tomorrow's not looking to be a big day. There's a slight risk from northeastern Oklahoma all the way up into portions of Wisconsin. It's a decent area, at least of how large slight risk is anyway. But the tornado risk is pretty much slim to none. You can say it's less than a 2%, but really the main threat is going to be wind and hail. And really these storms here is going to have a pretty short opportunity, especially as you get farther north. It's whenever they first develop, that's when they're going to have the wind and hail threat. And it's not really a huge threat or anything, so that's why we're not really going to talk much about tomorrow, because tomorrow, to me, it doesn't look like a huge threat or anything like that. There will be some wind shear to work with, but I don't think it's going to be enough to really support tornadoes or anything like that. And like I said earlier, slim to none tornado risk. And on day 3, it's pretty much a very similar situation. I think the main threat is could be hail and damage winds. You'll have a decent amount of instability, but you're going to lack with the wind shear a little bit. And I think wind shear values might be a little bit better for Saturday, which could really increase the tornado risk by a little bit, but it's still not really a big risk overall. But we'll definitely keep an eye on tomorrow and Saturday, and I'll let you guys know if there's going to be any big changes in the forecast on both of these days here over the next day or two. But anyways, guys, that's all for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys like this video, hit the like button. If you like my channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell notification so you never miss an upload. If you guys have questions about this, put a comment section down below. I'll answer guys' questions. I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye and have a good day.